welcome to my channel. So today I'm gonna do just a really basic bullet journal introduction. So basically I'm gonna go over what is a bullet journal, what do you need to start, the things I use, and then if I have time in this video I'm also planning on doing just how I bullet journal for school, because that's one of the things when I first started bullet journaling, that's what I really wanted to use it for. And I couldn't find any videos. It was just like really hard, so I had to come up with my own system, and I think I've got it down pretty well now. So let's get into it. The first thing that I'm gonna go over kind of is what is bullet journaling. And basically it is a system that was developed to kind of combine like a planner and lists or notes and just like a regular journal. And the creator of the bullet journal, I will put a link down to the website. He meshed these two systems together. So basically you've got a planner that also kind of functions as like a master list keeper / a journal. And really it's just like a very flexible system. It allows you to do whatever you need to do in one place. And it's really nice to like keep you organized and keep everything all together. So to start bullet journaling, you really only need two things. And those two things are a pen and a notebook. When I first started bullet journaling, the notebook that I used was like a $2 notebook that I got at Walmart. It was lined paper, and I just used like a Pilot pen or whatever pen I had laying around at the time. And you just start. A great place to get started is on the bullet journal website. It really goes into depth about like having the key and how to like get everything laid out. And that was how I started, was with just like those basic guidelines. But I mean, from there, everybody kind of evolves into their own system, and you move things around and you get rid of what you don't need, add in what you do need, just to make the system work for you. But all you really need to get started is a pen and a notebook, and it's as simple as that. A lot of people, when they first start, they get really overwhelmed because everybody, I think, gets like online and looks at like Bujo, like Instagrams and Pinterest and all sorts of stuff like that. And everybody on there, like on social media, a lot of those bullet journals are really, really nice looking and like really like elegantly drawn, and they've got all sorts of cool designs and fancy hand lettering. And you don't need that. If you have the time to do that and it doesn't take away from the productivity of the bullet journal, which is the main point of the whole system, if you have time to do that and it doesn't take away from the productivity, then go ahead and do that. But you don't need to make your bullet journal look fancy. You don't need to have hand lettering. You don't need to know how to do any of that. All you need to know how to do is pick up a pen and write. So yeah, those are really the only two things that you need to have. I'm going to go over what I use when I bullet journal, because I use a little bit more than that. So obviously I have a notebook here. This is one that I bound myself. So it's like the perfect size for me. It's like convenient to carry around. It's got like everything that I need in it. It's got a couple bookmarks here. And this is the notebook that I use. It has a dot grid on the inside, which I love. A lot of people that bullet journal like a dot grid, and I agree with them. It's just really nice for doing like all sorts of different layouts. So you need a journal, and then I use a bunch of different pens. And these are the pens that I use. I really like the Prismacolor like black Premier pens. I have them in like a various like range of sizes. These are just like my favorite pens for like general writing and doodling and whatnot. These are my favorite pens to use. They don't like dry out if you leave the cap off for too long. So I use those a lot. I keep one of these in my bullet journal all the time, so I always have a pen with me. And then I just have like a Pilot G2 pen, and I have a couple of these Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens, which I do like, but if you leave the cap off of them for too long and you're not using them, they dry out, so I don't use them a ton. But these are all the pens that I use. And then, of course, I like to have some pencils to sketch out my layouts, like write out my things before I get too heavy into like doing things with pen. So I have a lead pencil, and then I've just got a couple of like lead pointer pencils that you use for like drafting and stuff. I have them from when I started school, so I just use those two. I keep one of these and a lead pencil in my like bag in my purse with me all the time. And then the last things that I use all the time really are markers and highlighters. These are mostly for like my school related things. I color coordinate when I do my like classes. I color coordinate, each class gets a color, and then I use that to like kind of keep myself organized. And then of course if I need to highlight things on my calendar or certain dates or whatever, I have a couple highlighters to use there. And then I also really love these. These are my favorite like colored pens that I use. These are really the only ones that I use. And these are the Staedtler Triplus Fine Liners. These are really great. I love this 20 pack because it like converts into like a little easel, which is super nice, especially like when you're like at your desk and you're working. But these are just like a really nice like 0.3 millimeter pen, and they come in all sorts of colors. They have this one, they have like smaller packs. They're really great, and they have like a super nice like line quality. These are my favorite colored pens that I use, and I don't use them a ton, but like when I want some color in my journal, this is what I use. So I'm just gonna like briefly kind of go over, I also always carry an eraser with me and some post-it notes. I have a big pack with me right now, but I usually have like a couple like of the mini ones because they're just really convenient if you need to jot something down really quick and throw it in there. Like it's not permanent, you can just put those in there on a post-it note, which is really nice. So for school, I'm going to open up here. This is, I just did my 2017 spread the other day. I started out with January. So when I bullet journal, I always, at the beginning of every month, I make a full calendar so that I can put in birthdays, when like things start for school, and then as things pop up throughout the month, I'll put those in there too. And usually at the beginning of the months, like I'll put my headers, and that's where I'll put a little bit of color, and usually it's just like in the headers on the month. And then I have little like month tabs in my bullet journal. These are just like tabs that I made and then laminated. I really like these. They just like help me flip to things really quickly, which is really nice. These obviously like aren't necessary, but if you like a tab and you like to be extra organized, I definitely recommend them. So after I make my month calendar, usually I go straight into my weekly spreads. And a lot of people will do a bunch of like monthly trackers, and I've tried those when I first started bullet journaling, but honestly they just like don't do anything for me. I never like finish filling them out, so I just have eliminated those altogether because I get so busy during the school semesters that it's just like impossible to keep up with a tracker for me. So usually after my monthlies, I jump right into my weeklies, and these are what my weeklies look like during my school. So I just start my weeks out. I start my weeks on Monday because I have, like, when I first got into this, I watched a couple videos where people started their calendars like this. I don't know, I just really liked it. So I start my calendars on Monday and end on Sunday. So this week will be the week of January 16th to the 22nd. And I started it here because this is when I go back to school. When I'm not in school, I really don't do a whole lot of stuff that, like, I get super busy and need to, like, have a planner for. So I don't like bullet journal when I'm not in school, honestly. So I just start here, and you can see I have little like boxes, and then these are each of my classes that I'm taking, and they all have a color. So what I do here is I'll write the date next to, if I have like a project coming up, I'll put the date in here in parentheses, and then like write down what I have due. And then I'll put a color, like a dot that is the color that coordinates to whatever class on the date when that project is due. So I can have a quick look down at my calendar and go, oh, I have something coming up on Thursday. What is in my jewelry and metals class? So that lets me know, just like a really quick way to like keep organized and like let you know like, oh, you have something coming up. But I mean, really, this is just, I just jot things down in here. And I only keep a 3-week calendar on the bottom of one page. And then the bottom of this other side of the page, I just keep blank usually. And then if I need to jot something down, or I need to go get something or make a list or whatever, I can put that here, especially if it's like for a particular class, or particularly like, oh, this weekend, like I need to get this stuff done. I can just jot it down here with a date next to it, and it's all right here on this one page. So that's pretty much what I do for school. I will flip back to the beginning of my bullet journal and show you what the front of it looks like. So most people, I think, well, not most people, a lot of people put an index in the front of their bullet journal, and this is part of the like original bullet journal system, is having an index. Some people don't use this just because like they don't need one. I like to have an index just because I don't log everything in my index like the original system says to do, because I know I'm not going to want to go back and go, oh, what did I do the week of October 7th or whatever. I know that's not important to me. So I just put like the month, and then if there's anything like really important, like I had some notes for one of my classes here, so I put that in there so I could reference back to that. I have some recipes and just like some other little things that like I know that I will want to reference back to every now and then. So I put that kind of stuff in my index, and that's really all, which is why I only have like the front and back of one page for my index, because I don't put a lot of stuff in it. And then you flip to the next page and we've got my year at a glance here. And this is just where I have marked out every month with a little calendar, and then I have all the dates circled in a certain color, and those color coordinate over here to whatever event is happening that day. So when I'm making my monthly calendars, I will flip to the page where the month is, and I'll go, okay, these birthdays are this day, and I'll write them in on my like big monthly spread at the beginning of every month. So this is just like a really easy way to like keep track of what you have going on all year. I use this mostly for like holidays, when my like semester breaks and stuff are, and birthdays, because that's really all that I like keep track of throughout the year. And then you get into, these are just some of my earlier spreads. And then a lot of people do trackers. I have only like 1 or 2 trackers in my bullet journal, I think. And this is the one that I use the most often. This is my bookshelf, and it's really less of a, well, it is a tracker. It's just my bookshelf, and basically what it is I write in books that I have that I want to read into like the little spaces here, and then when I read it, I color it in, and that's how I like keep track of the books that I've read and like which books that I like have that I want to read. So yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all that I do in my bullet journal. Some people I know do like a gratitude log, which I tried to do here in September and obviously didn't finish it. But yeah, this is like during school. These are what my layouts look like, just with different things. I'll put little boxes next to them with check marks, and you can see like over here I have my calendar system in effect. This was one of my first like attempts at like a weekly spread for school, and I did really like this, but then I got to the point where I got so busy I just didn't have time to like write in the quotes or anything, and then I would get like not busy and I was just wasting all of this space. So after about a month or so, I switched over to my current system, which I'm really liking so far. And yeah, so that is a little bit of like an intro to bullet journaling and how I bullet journal for school. And this is also like a little bit of a flip through of my bullet journal personally. Yeah. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.